Hey, and welcome to Fit Me Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, and welcome to this Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast. Today's episode is part 3 of 3 for emotional eating and especially for stress eating. So if you didn't listen first 2 episodes, you can find them my previous episodes in my podcast. So we were talking. First episode was all about understanding emotional eating. So that was kind of things what you are able to recognize if you are actually struggling with emotional eating and first initial steps. Then episode number 2 was all about coping mechanism, understanding why things are happening, why you are craving food in your body, and then strategies how to actually get immediate help and start to improve. And today's episode is all about long-term strategies to overcome emotional eating. So these are all sustainable strategies, and this is with these strategies what we are going to talk today. You are able to hopefully get rid of emotional eating for good, or at least reduce it significantly. So this is going to hopefully help you so much. So this is ultimately it's not going to be. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some time. So goal is always to achieving the balanced relationship with food. And as you probably know, it's not going to happen overnight. And if you are listening now, couple 30-minute podcasts, it's not going to be solved, but these are hopefully going to be the first steps towards healthier relationship with the food. So but let's get into this topic and talk about these things. So how it always because we talked about those all kind of strategies, but what is one of the most beneficial and helpful thing what you can do against emotional eating or eating for emotions, especially for stress eating? It could be for boredom, anything. And it comes all down to planning and planning your meals. So if you are planning, like we said, that it's in the first episode we learned that it's not always about that you are eating for emotion. Sometimes you might be actually hungry, and it's very hard to actually recognize that what is the difference. And when you are having those cravings that you are feeling like snacking, there might be actually a reason that you are actually missing some important macronutrients, calories, and for that reason you end up snacking, you end up having those cravings. What do you think that there is something wrong with you? So if you are able to plan things ahead, and I know that if you say that you don't have a lot of time, you don't need to take a lot of time. It's just that if you are able to plan at least your protein sources, maybe your fiber sources, and having some kind of idea that what kind of snacks you are going to have with you. So when those emotional situations happen and you have healthier snacks available, there's a lot bigger chances that you are going to grab those healthier options than if you are going without planning, without being prepared in these situations. And then it's kind of that fight or flight mode. You are trusting your impulses, and you end up eating something what you then maybe later on you think that didn't went as planned. So making sure that you have those enough macronutrients. And if you're not sure what is the most important thing, is to have first of all that you eat around calories you need. That is the most important thing. Then important macronutrients is the protein and fiber. Basically everything else doesn't really matter. Carbohydrates, yes, they do matter for your energy levels. If your goal is to if you are working out, you need them. It's going to be, they are energy, source of energy for all goals. But I'm not going to talk too much about macronutrients. It's about just making sure that you have those balance, like a kind of variety of nutrients to satisfy your body and mind. And this is the key part. I have for meal planning, there are several episodes in my coaching programs. We go in depth in all of these things. So then, second thing, what is kind of like it's not always, because the first one is always that what you are eating. So this is when you are prepared, planned, it helps. But second thing, if you don't have always access that what you are going to eat, that you don't have that option, or you forgot to meal plan what to do, then it's all about not what you are eating, but how you are eating. And there it comes all about mindful eating. So if you think like that, those mindful eating tips, what is mindful eating, first of all? And it's we talked about it a little bit in our previous episodes, but in short, there's a quick checklist what I love to send every once in a while for my clients as a reminder, because even I'm pretty sure you have heard about these things, we still tend to forget these things because that's how human nature is going. So, but it's just a quick checklist what you can do before your every meal or every time you are about to put something. So first of all, that you are sitting, you are not eating on a go, and don't give that excuse that you don't have time. No, you have to sit every time. Then you are eating without distractions. So you are not going to watch phone. You are not going to do something else while you are eating. So take your time to enjoy every bite and eating without distraction. So only these things, these are going to help you more than you believe if you are not currently doing them. Then third step is basically what I love to have, is to have a glass of water before your meal. So this makes you feel fuller when you are already full or starting to get full, and making sure that you are hydrated too. Step number 4 is that you stop eating when you start to feel full. So I love to use this here is like 80% when you start to feel, but 80% full. But this is something like that what I struggle with myself too, that how the hell I should know if I'm 70% or 85%. But it's kind of a thing that you start to feel full, and that is the moment when you should stop eating. And thinking like that, if you are not sure, stop right before you are feeling, because it takes like 15-20 minutes before your brain actually gets that information from your stomach that you are actually full. And especially if you are eating very fast, then it's you stop earlier, and then you recognize that, okay, I actually don't need more. You can eat it. And if in the worst case, if it happens that you are still hungry after 15 minutes waiting, you can always eat more. So this is kind of those are quick things. Obviously, then there's you can add putting your fork down every time, eating as basically just as slow as you can. And those mindful eating. There are so many, or a couple more tips what you could be doing. But if you get started with these things, that's a great start. And this is all about how you are eating instead of eating like what you are eating. So then long-term strategies, what we talked already in previous episodes a little bit is a little bit like kind of cognitive behavior therapy. And this is not like I'm not some therapist or anything, but this is a little bit combination. I explain how it works. So you have an idea. We talked about this in the previous episodes, and these are often the best long-term strategies. So it's a form of psychotherapy that aims to change pattern of thinking or behavior that are behind people's difficulties. So change the way they feel. So this I had to read it because like I said, I'm not some therapist, but this is basically what I have been doing without actually knowing what I'm doing. And I have a couple of clients who are actually therapists, and they were always like they were telling me like that. Wow, did you know that the way how you are talking, it's this kind of therapy that you would be great doing it. And I was like that. I have no idea. This is the person who I am and how I am, but I have no idea. I haven't studied any psychology or something, but this is basically I read a lot. I work with a lot of people, what I have worked for the people, but I don't follow some model of psychology. So I can't even pronounce it. So this is just a little bit about me, but how you can apply that cognitive behavioral therapy to emotional eating. So it's effective to addressing because it tackles the root causes. So basically the root causes are often the negative thoughts and feelings that lead to the behavior. So if you think that how this one is then working for emotional eating, so it's identifying those triggers. So like we talked in the first series of this emotional eating episode, you start to helping like identify the specific situations, emotional states, and thought patterns that trigger for that emotional eating. So this could be stress, it could be boredom, sadness, or maybe even some social situation. So basically, you just have to learn from your patterns. That's always the first step. What is the root cause? What is when it's happening, and learning those your triggers. And then when you are having those negative thoughts, then it starts that you are challenging those your negative thoughts. So once you have triggers, you have identified those triggers. So you are next step is challenging those negative thoughts. So you are learning how to change those negative thought patterns. So, for example, replacing those thoughts like that, I must eat to feel better with I can cope in a healthier ways. So this is like what we talked in episode 2, that finding those healthier, and already before this in episode, that finding those healthier solutions. So if your mind is like that you are craving for some potato chips, if you buy them like processed potato chips, or you have prepared that you have already prepared in advance, you have made potato chips yourself. So you still give that same thing, but just a healthier option for your brain. And it's not a too bad thing if you are craving something sweet. If you have available some berries like strawberries or frozen berries with the Greek yogurt, this is something what I personally love. Like if you have just if you are, for example, craving ice cream, what my wife have been doing recently is just that basically Greek yogurt with frozen berries, putting it into a mixer, and without sugar, without anything, it tastes so good, and have high in protein, high in fiber because of berries. So basically you are eating yogurt with the berries. It's just the frozen, tastes like a kind of ice cream, but just a lot healthier version without added sugars. So obviously it's not exactly the same thing, but than the real thing. But if this happens often, it's all about finding those those healthier ways for your cravings. And then that behavioral experiment. So how is that then that cognitive behavioral theory is working? That it involves testing these new thought patterns through behavioral experiments. So for emotional eating, it could be meaning like implementing those alternative actions. So when the urge to eat from emotion arises, like if you get that urge to eat, like now I'm stressed, I need to eat, but then you replace that action for something else, like that you are waiting for 5 minutes, you go for a walk, you are engaging with the hobby, you can clean the house, you can call a friend. So this is just the testing new alternative behaviors, and these are the long-term strategies, and there is no one thing that works for all. It's all about testing, trying new different things, what works for you individually. And if it's not working for the first time, stay patient, keep trying for a couple more times, because it's not if you have struggled with emotional eating and coping, different coping mechanism for past 30 years, you can't expect that within a couple of days or a week you are going to fix all these problems once and for good. So then second, then what kind of skills this techniques you could be using. So you are going to learn how to deal with the problems and reduce the stress that because that stress is ultimately causing that emotional eating. So you are learning to deal the stress, like we talked in the previous episode, where breathing exercises and some muscle relaxation exercises. And these are all kind of techniques that you could be trying to reduce that stress, and that you don't have that urge of eating foods what you want. So what you always do when you feel stressed. So, and this is then ultimately the step what you could be doing is just that you are keeping the track for things, how things are working, if you can actually measure them, and when these are happening. Like, this is first of all, like, just to identifying those triggers, but also emotions, like what you have been eating and how you are feeling. So kind of that food diary for emotional eaters is not only that what you are eating, but also the emotions felt at the time, to increase your self awareness and control. So when you are able to see that, wow, this I feel sad, I feel bored, I feel stressed, and now I need to eat. And then, you write down what you were eating, what happened. And then when you become aware of these emotions, why this is happening, and then it's so much easier to understand it if you start to talk to yourself that, okay, I feel stressed, I'm craving ice cream. So that's first of all. And if you end up eating ice cream, that's totally fine. But you have then that, okay, what else I could be doing? So could it be that taking those actions, should I start to implement some stress relieving exercises, like breathing exercise first, just for a minute? Should I go for a walk? Should I do some physical activity, and to deal with the stress and not suppress that unwanted feeling with the food? And then if it's not food, or you can, if you still decide to suppress those feelings with the food, you can ask yourself, are you going to have some more balanced or healthier version of that, what I originally wanted? Would that be helpful? And then ultimately that making this decision if you are going to eat or not. So then that's kind of that cognitive therapy, what is in a long-term thing. And then ultimately, like that, there is a acceptance and commitment therapy, and this is something what I'm very good, or I don't like to put myself, but what I have seen that this works so well for the most of the people I work with, because we tend to be so hard on ourselves. Like we are if everything is going good, you are having perfect week. You did all your workouts, you were eating mostly healthy, you slept good, but then you are like end of the week that okay, it was what it should be, and then when you have a week that everything wasn't perfect, there was one bad day, you were eating or drinking a lot more than you should be doing, you missed one workout, and then we feel so much guilt about that, and it's kind of the same thing that with emotional eating. So acceptance and commitment therapy. That's the name of that kind of therapeutic thing. So it usually is basically acceptance and mindfulness strategies mixed in a different ways with the commitment and behavior change strategies to increase that psychological flexibility. So why this is then this kind of approach is helping with emotional eating, because it helps you to accept your emotions and thoughts without judgment, focusing on aligning your actions with your values rather than immediate impulses. So this is first step. How this is then working in a real life is that ACT, so that basically you are learning to accept your emotions and cravings without acting on them. So this is going to be huge if you are like if you feel that kind of diary, learning what you are feeling, how you are feeling, and then you understand that okay, I'm stressed. I don't need to. It's a normal feeling. It's normal emotion. Maybe I'm bored, whatever emotion you are feeling. And then like that, you don't need to act right away, immediately on them. So instead, fighting or feeling guilty about cravings, that you understand that this is a feeling that it will pass, and I don't need to do anything on it. So when you are stressed, okay, I don't like to be stressed. There's a lot of things to do, but it will pass. Like latest in a couple hours or couple days, stress is gone. If you are bored, then you are bored. But you can make yourself busy if it's something what you don't want to feel, because this is how our brain is working. You need to get kind of that immediate satisfaction and immediate do something against it. And this is like kind of long term. It's always the delay. Like I'm sure you have, or I don't know if you have heard. This is like the marshmallow test when they were giving for the kids, like that they were. I can't remember now exactly, but that's basically understanding like that kids that they could choose that either they get one marshmallow now right away, or if they are willing to wait for a couple hours, they would get 5 or something like that. And it's a big, it was a big study at the time. And those people who decided or those kids who decided that immediate satisfaction, and they were later in the life, they were doing not so well as those who were able to delay that satisfaction, and then they got more. So this is kind of all thinking, like if you think that long term, there's always short term solution, what is always that tempting, and it's so hard. Like it's about everything. It's about emotional eating. It's about working out. Like there's nobody who is motivated all the time, but you know that in the long term to feel better, you have to take that unwanted action. And it's same thing with the emotional eating. And this is something like that. If you are not able to take it, then often the reason is that your reason why you are doing it, it's not strong enough. So you have to find more meaningful reason, more painful reason why you have to be able to do these long-term things. Because if you don't have that strong enough reason, you will always be struggling with that. And that's why all my coaching programs, I always remember to start with your what is your why training, and it's a training what will make you cry, and if it doesn't, it's you have to repeat it until you really get emotional. And when I did it for myself, I understood like it's this is now not only about emotional eating, but for my own workouts. And when I did it, I understood that I went deeper in my thoughts, and I understood that my motivation, what I'm actually doing, it starts always from love from my dad. What was basically something what I was missing. I didn't probably get enough. I wanted, and then it was always like kind of pleasuring my dad what he wanted. Now he unfortunately passed away. I I loved him, even he was probably not the best loving father what you could imagine to have, but it's still like trying to be good enough for him was is basically was for me, or it is still kind of a reason what I'm aiming for, what I'm doing, and understanding that. And when I saw his struggles with his health, when he was laying in a bed, not able to lost his all his muscle mass, ability to walk at the age of 60, and passed away unfortunately at the age of 70, without having basically any life quality for the past 5-6 years of his life. And I was like that, okay, this is something what I'm willing to do everything in my power to avoid. And this fear and this pain is always, it's in my mind, it's greater than the pain or fear of doing those things now, what I know that I need to be doing. And that's basically how I very rarely struggle with my consistency. I'm not motivated. I hate doing my strength training. I don't always with eating. I'm not the perfect person. I do eat not always like mostly healthy, but there is always, I love enjoyment too. I like to enjoy foods, drinks. So, but trying to have kind of moderation in those things. And that's basically why you should be always starting. It's not about being perfect, but because in the end, you are some of your habits, what you are doing now. And that is kind of thinking that what you are doing now, it's that you are some of your actions today in next 5 years. So you might not see the difference in tomorrow, but in 6 months, year from now, 5 years from today, you are some from your actions, and you might be okay now, but longer you keep avoiding work, what you know you need to be doing, it's going to be, it's more likely it is that you will struggle in the long term. So, but this is was a little bit side note for my acceptance and these things, how we feel guilty. So basically, this is those feelings, they come and go, and then you are understanding that what is truly important and meaningful for you. So if that your health, well-being, or your relationships, that what is actually important for you, and then when you understand those your values. So if, for example, if you struggle with emotional eating, so it might be you might want to focus on long-term wellness and your how your eating behaviors are aligning with this value. So how to apply this kind of this acceptance and commitment therapy. So it's basically that you are setting realistic achievable goals that are aligned with your values. So for emotional eating, it could be having some goals around healthy eating, mindful eating, like uh, kind of your how you are responding rather than reacting. So it's not always this is the hardest thing to understand, that it's not always that how you are actually responding when things are not going well. So what is how you talk to yourself, how you are, if because it's always like that. It's so much easier to talk in a way like that, I'm a fucking idiot or something, but why I didn't do these things. But this is the best advice what I always love to tell to people who are struggling with this, to think of your best friend. If you had a bad weekend, your goal is to improve your emotional eating. You ended up eating emotionally for your stress or whatever feelings you were feeling, or something didn't go as planned. And then you are talking to yourself like that, fucking idiot, what I just did. Now I must punish myself with the workout. I won't. I will start to skip meals. And then think about like this, what you would tell to your best friend in this situation. You wouldn't talk in a way you talk to yourself. So try to talk yourself in a way that you would talk to your best friend, who would just tell you exactly the same thing. And that's why, like, being a coach, it's kind of very simple, but we are so hard on ourselves, and saying that what you would, if I would just explain to you, this is my favorite phrases, what I tell to my clients, is that what you just told me, if I would tell you the same thing, what you would advise, what advice you would give to me. And then they're like, yeah, probably, like, don't be so hard on yourself. And it's one day, it's a couple of days. It doesn't matter in the long term. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. And these are ultimately what is going to happen. And when you set these kind of goals, like what are aligned with your values, trying to be kind of that mindful and ending, going with the mindfulness and mindful eating, focusing on a present moment and making choices that are aligned with your goals and values, rather than trying to suppress those unwanted feelings or temporary emotions. So these are basically those kind of long-term strategies. And then obviously, what is reducing stress, like long-term strategies, it's always kind of incorporating some kind of regular physical activity. So this is especially being outside, doing some walks. Walking is it's by far the simplest, by far the most beneficial exercise what you could be doing. So don't it's at least for me, and reducing stress, it's uh, my therapy is going for a walk every Sunday, going to a hike, or like almost every Sunday. That is just something what helps with that emotional eating. And it can be what you enjoy. What I always remember, it's walking is, and that's a must if you are able to walk. And then some kind of resistance training. This is in a long term strategy, even if you don't enjoy doing it, but some kind of lifting weights using rubber bands, that's resistance training. That's make your body feel better, decreasing when you feel strong. You are feeling, that's the best feeling what you can have. And that helps you to feel less stressed. And when you know that you are strong, that's something. But obviously, physical activity, it don't have to be. Most important is that you enjoy doing it. It's something what you enjoy doing. So this if you, what is then, when in a long term, when we talk about in a long term how to actually maintain your results in the long term, it's learning to identify those warning signs. So how, because this is one of the hardest things, and it's one of the biggest fears. When you see that, okay, now you start to see some improvements with your emotional eating, but then you start to see that now I'm going back to my old habits. So you are reverting. This is how our mind, how our bodies are ultimately going, like that. You might be able to do it for a short time, but when you start to see patterns that you are going back to your old signs. So this was something what I recently, there were a couple of my clients, we worked together like 4 or 5 years ago, and they reached out recently. They said that now everything went so well for the next 2-3 years, all strategies they learned and everything they were doing themselves. But then after 3-4 years, they started to recognize that now they need a little push again, because they start to go back to old patterns. And this is something what is such a powerful. They were kind of feeling a little bit ashamed, like that. There's something wrong with me? Can I still contact you? That it was so helpful at the time we worked, but now it feels like that. If I need again, like that's actually a good sign that you are recognizing those patterns, that you are going back to your old habits, and before you just let it go in a way it used to be, you are actually taking action. So it doesn't mean that maybe for this, like you are able to, with that accountability, because we all need in some form of accountability, otherwise you will lose that motivation, or even things what you should be doing, but you are just not doing them. So some form of accountability, we are all different and we need different kind of, but it's basically just the most important thing is to learning from your patterns, what you are doing. And if there is some warning signs that you start to recognize that you are going back, and then it's time to do something immediately and not like letting yourself to go back. So always what I recommend, that what is the smallest thing you can do immediately. So if it's emotional eating, could it be just pausing, stepping, waiting? For some of my other people who struggle with the workouts, for example, I said, what is the simplest thing? If you keep telling yourself that you can't work out, you don't have time to work out, how much you have time? Because you have time, but it's just question is that how much. If you say that you don't have 30-minute time for 30-minute workout, how about 15 minutes? If 15 minutes sounds too much, 5 minutes. If 5 minutes, then do one push-up. It doesn't matter. Just keeping promises for yourself, what you promised, to start taking action with your workouts. So these are kind of strategies when you start to learn from that you are not reverting those old habits and getting those setbacks. So setbacks, they will always happen. They will always in some form. There's not the one person who is said it's like at the once everything is fixed and you never need to go back. So there will be setbacks, but it's about how you are learning from them, how you are bouncing back, how fast you are able to get back on track, because it's all about that. Or if you let it be that once you ended up eating emotionally, it doesn't matter anymore. And it's kind of same thing, understanding that progress is that if you struggle with the emotional eating, if you would be eating 10 out of 10 emotionally in these situations, and now you are eating only 8 out of 10. So 2 from 10 you have improved, and that is a progress. And that is the hardest thing to understand, that progress is not that you are able to do it perfectly. Progress is that you are able to improve it. So that concludes this episode. So thank you for listening. I really hope these strategies were helpful. If they were, I would appreciate to let me know in my Instagram, send me DM, send me email, turo@fitmitturo.com. And if there's anything else I can help you, just let me know. Obviously, I'm a coach. Coaching is what I do for a living. If you need any help with this, I'm planning to do some kind of program with this. One-on-one coaching is always option. And just shoot me the email turo@fitmitturo.com or DM me in my Instagram. So thank you for listening, and talk to you So
hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.